You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, and streaming live on Ustream, this is AFTERBUZZ TV for Louie. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest Louie news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, picking up where the show leaves off, and the buzz continues, Louie.
Hi there. This is Shannon Joy Rodgers. I am joined with Mario Hernandez for the Louie AFTERBUZZ podcast. Today we watched the Joan episode with Joan Rivers,
which is appropriately titled
Joan. We are recapping previous episodes until season 3 comes out, which I don't know for sure when or where.
Oh, when or where?
But
it definitely did get picked up.
It will happen.
It will happen.
Whenever Louie says it happens.
Because he's the man.
He's the man. So basically, the overall theme of this episode is kind of be grateful for what you have. What a fitting way to go into next week with Thanksgiving.
Be careful for the gifts that are given to you. The calling.
I don't understand.
Why
be careful of it, though?
Because it can go away at any time.
Oh, yeah.
Because
be appreciative.
Exactly. Be appreciative because you never know when it might end.
I thought careful as like be weary. I don't know.
Guard it.
Okay.
Be thankful, guard it. Be aware, be present. These are all things that would serve us well all in life to remember.
I would love to play the lounge room at Trump.
Right?
Kidding me?
It's funny. It's funny how
I feel like that's when I made it. Right?
That's right. The lounge room at the Trump or Taj Mahal or whatever it is on the
Trump
boardwalk.
Plaza somewhere. Wherever they were.
I don't know. We'd have to go to Boardwalk Empire to know exactly where that is. Trump's been around that long, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roughly.
Yeah.
A couple centuries.
His hair's been around. So.
Yeah. His hair actually manifested the man. They just came together.
It was the hair that gave rise to...
Went down. Yeah. I feel like that's how Conan was formed also. It started with the hair. The hair went to college. And
then it all went down literally down from there.
Yeah.
I had I was in an open mic because I am a stand-up comedian, fledgling stand-up comedian myself. And I was in an open mic and I don't remember... I'm going to say your joke, but I don't remember your name. But he had a really great... And he said, what if I think he said something like, what if douchebags evolved from fedoras? Kind of the same principle. It's the other way around. First the fedoras came, and then the douchebags grew.
It's funny how that's like the staple for douchebags.
Right, fedora, which is unfair because the fedora is a lovely...
The fedora is a lovely
classic
accessory.
Yeah.
And when worn properly,
right,
can put off a very classic male,
Yeah, but unless you're a musician or...
Can't do it. Jazz musician at that.
A jazz musician.
Not a pop music or
No.
Rock. I don't know. Kid Rock, I guess, does that fedora thing.
Well, there we go.
There we go. And we're back on the douchebag trail.
Right.
No, I actually saw Kid Rock live once.
And how was he?
It was actually really fun because, that crowd is so into him. I was like a sophomore in high school. Yeah. But,
Then this was in Texas?
Yeah.
As well, yeah.
In Austin, at Austin Music Hall.
Back
in the day.
My fiance is from Detroit. And so she points out that Kid Rock is not the real deal because he's from a really affluent part of Detroit.
Oh, really?
Whereas Eminem is. Eminem's
the real deal.
The real deal. Kid Rock, not so much.
Yeah. That's funny. Detroit's got a heavy history of music. It's a great city.
Yeah.
But so back to
I think honestly for top to bottom, beginning to end, I actually think this is the best episode of both seasons. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I was very moved by it the first time I saw it.
I don't know. I really liked the masturbation episode.
Right.
This was definitely a motivating I love Joan Rivers' monologue at the end.
She's great.
But the masturbation episode was really funny
also
too. It's quite well done.
But this one, I think, more than any of the others, you know, we've talked about on the show before. For anybody who doesn't know, the unprecedented deal that FX has basically given Louis C.K., which is that, you know, he directs all the episodes, he writes them, he edits them. And I guess kind of similarly to Curb Your Enthusiasm, but I mean, Louis C.K., he's a one-man show. He's kind of, the network tells him, okay, we need this many episodes. He says, okay, and he turns them in. There's no script approval. There's no, they put total faith in him. And so this show, more than anything, I think, is a window into the anxieties of Louis C.K. And it's coming at a crossroads in his life where he's divorced. He's trying to raise his 2 girls. He's, you know, I'm sure constantly questioning himself because, you know, he's a star, but as they pointed, as the casino manager points out to him, you know, he tells him, you're a comic type.
Yeah.
You know, so it's people who know him.
He's not a commercial comic.
Right. He's respected more than he's known.
Yes.
You know, and so and it's tricky because of his commitments to his kids. Like he doesn't travel around that much. He kind of stays in the New York area.
So when he travels, I'm sure he feels that he should be doing more than the lounge act with the free tickets that the people get, you know, with their buffet and, you know.
Well, I wonder about that. I think this might just be a comedic device. I think I based on what I've seen, and he's a very humble guy and he's very aware. So I don't know necessarily if he feels entitled to that sort of thing. But in the show, it was the catalyst.
In the show, yeah.
For him to kind of have it mirrored back. Someone like Joan Rivers, who's been, you know, to hell and back again 4 or 5 times. You know, she's fallen out of favor and then back, and then now she's doing the red carpets shows with Melissa Rivers, and you know, they're dogging people, and so like each new generation is coming.
She finds her way.
She finds herself back into pop culture, and it's like, look, don't give up. Don't give up.
Yeah.
She says that.
Continually
don't give up.
will find your voice. Yeah, I absolutely love her monologue because I could be for anybody doing anything on earth.
It's not about just stand-up comedy.
It's not. And the passion that she has behind it is kind of like, you know what it is? It's kind of like my mom, except for it's motherly to the extent that that lady's been through it a million times and she wants what's best for you.
Yes.
You know, she wants you not to be down on yourself. She wants you to just like be so excited because she's like, let me tell you, because I've been there, you know? She that advice is just like amazing.
You're right, that is motherly because it's you know, you always want you don't want your kids to go through. You don't want other people to go through what you went through. You want to make it easier for other people. She says this, you know, I've seen you before. You're a young comic. It's nice. Let's talk. Let's gossip. You know, and
she actually says, I get this from a lot of young comics, even people your age.
Yes, yeah. So it's there's that generational thing of look, things are good now, and now it's people are getting, you know, network deals and Comedy Central and the internet. You know, Joan Rivers, she's a lifetime gamer. I mean, she used to be, you know, and she had to, you know, kind of muscle her way in when female comics were just not...
Zero blowjobs.
She did not give it, which was such a great joke and setup. You know, how many do you think I gave? And he says, I don't know, 40. She's like, what?
I didn't know what to think either because she kept alluding to the fact that it was a high number.
And I was like, and I went Carson and the this and the that. He's like, I don't know, 40. She's like, what? 0. What do you think I am?
Yeah. I absolutely love. I've actually never really seen her stand up. I've definitely seen her red carpet, you know, her in movies and being made fun of or, you know, anything like that. But I've never actually seen a set of hers. But she looks
Check it out.
She looks awesome.
Yeah.
She looks amazing on stage and like, you know, I'm sure it's amazing.
She's classic. I mean, she's, you know, and like, you know, she can dish it out, but she can also take it. And she's the first one to talk about herself. And now that she's older, of course, that just gives her a wealth of material.
Doors are open.
Yeah.
She doesn't care.
She doesn't care.
She has no, like, I mean, I'm sure she has somewhat of an ego, but that shit's gone out the door.
And she talks about her plastic surgery. I mean, she knows she looks like, you know, a Balinese mask.
She's so much more human, and she gives a voice to, you know, people who maybe have those same ideals that she does, but she doesn't care. She's going to let it all out versus someone who kind of maybe even like Louis C.K. may censor himself on some things to keep himself, quote unquote, guarded, for lack of a better word.
Right.
But she's like, she doesn't care.
She doesn't care.
She doesn't care.
And that's what you know, in any industry, I think you need to be fearless.
Yeah.
You need to just not, and you know, especially if it's entertainment, especially nowadays when you're packaging yourself, basically, when you are the brand, you know, you can decide what is and isn't. But you know, it's tricky, you know, because even the so-called nice or the clean kind of, Justin Bieber, for example, stuff will come out and stuff will. So with comics, especially comics that let it all hang out, there's nowhere to go. There's no scandal. There's no, because where are you going to go? They put everything out on stage.
Yeah.
You know, so this era of even the guarded celebrity is just that's passe too. You know, and I like that the episode showed a little bit of the old world, which is, you know, the clubs, the small rooms, with the modern world. Which is what I think this episode's about, is about his sense of entitlement. Well, you know, I want to play the big room. Stick me in the big room, you know? And it's like, look, you have a job, period. And in today's economy, you're already, you know, you're ahead of 80%.
Not just
20%.
the economy, but just how today's actor or personality can come up with reality TV, with the internet. You know what I mean? There's just so many people that haven't put in the work that Louis C.K. has, that probably are getting the same amount of shine in other areas of entertainment. You know what I mean?
Or blowing up for, you know, never leaving their living room. Yeah. You know, they record something on YouTube.
Exactly. And boom.
Now, boom.
There you go. So,
but he's a grinder, and so is
definitely.
So is Joan Rivers and all those comedians. Comedy's hard. Have you ever done stand-up?
I want to really bad.
You should.
Improv and sketch stuff and theater.
But that's
pageants.
Okay, actually, the pageant is probably closer to stand-up than
probably
improv or sketch, because it's just you.
Pageants were just me. My talent.
What was your talent?
Oh, wow. How did that even come
up? Tell us about you.
The first...
Larry King live tonight with Shannon Joy Rodgers, the queen of Texas pageants.
The first pageant that I did was for Houston-Tillotson University, the school I went to. It's a historically black college university. And there's a pageant every year to be Miss Houston-Tillotson, basically, the queen of the college or university. And I won, and I was 19. And what I won was free tuition. So
what?
I went to school for free.
Based on a pageant?
Yeah. Because you're the queen, and I got flown out to other pageants because HBCU is kind of like how the Ivies are a union. You know, there's the historically black colleges that Spelman and Howard and all those together. So they're queens. We all had a pageant in Atlanta, and it was like a big thing. Anyhow.
The Thunderdome?
Yeah.
the Georgia Dome?
Yeah.
And so how did you do?
At that one, I didn't place. But... I don't know.
Cares?
I don't care.
You got a free education.
Yeah. And my talent was I made up a rap about the school, and I rapped about the school over the Dead Prez beat hip hop.
Nice.
Yeah. That won me. And it was...
Can you give us a little taste of what won you?
You know what? I actually thought about the lyrics the other day because I was like, I can't remember but I had like teachers' names in it, like the street, and just like...
I'm sure we could find it on YouTube. Somewhere.
I don't know. I think I definitely did not put that on YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but do
you need a beat?
But yeah, no, I don't need a beat. Maybe if I do stand-up, that could be something that I do. I just start freestyling it then. Who knows? But that's how I won. So that would be closer to stand-up than...
You sang for your supper.
I literally sang for thousands of college dollars. Yeah. And then I got to meet Miss America. I did all these things. Like, it was so girly, and I just like am so
but
like...
That's not you, though.
I'm not... Right. I mean, I'm wearing pink right now, and I'm wearing a dress, but
That's as much as it goes.
I break bones skating and doing things of that nature. That's so not me. But it was fun. I like doing fun things, I guess. So I was like, oh yeah, I'll enter that.
I'll get in a pageant.
Sure. Then actually.
So then you're not going to get stage fright if you did stand up.
Oh no, definitely. I actually find stand up to be way less intimidating than being like in sketch shows or in improv
Really?
shows. I have no idea why, but it's way less intimidating than me. I feel like I could just get out there and just talk because it's
That's
just
all it
me.
is. Yeah.
You know, and I think in improv I fear failing with other people. Instead, I could just fail by myself, and then I could just like, I could still control it though. You know what I mean? I don't know, but Louie knows what I mean.
Louie does. He's been doing it forever. No, there is you know, they say, because on certain nights I think it's different, but you know, stand-up comedy is the thing is not just that it's by yourself, which can be terrifying for some people in of itself, but it's the goal. It's the stated goal. You know, where in improv it's, you know, to entertain and to laugh, but you know, you can also do, you know, serious. You can also be clever in improv, right? So sometimes there's the format. Well, sketch, same thing, right? It's a good show. It's supposed to be funny, but it can also. Stand-up comedy is funny. That's it. There's no like, yeah, you could do social commentary. You can make people think, but the goal, as the audience and performer understand it, is singular. I am going to make you laugh.
Yeah.
So it's pass, fail, yes, no. There's no like, meh. It's did you make me laugh? Were you funny? Yes or no? And based on that, you're successful. The successful stand-up comedians are the funny ones. The unsuccessful ones are the unfunny ones. Every so often, somebody will make it big that may not be as funny, or a really hysterical comedian won't hit it big. But I think that's what makes it so
I just
hard.
have a personal liking towards stand-ups. I go to Meltdown Comics often, or
Right.
you know, Comedy Store, and I have a liking to comics that make things kind of personable. Like just have fun with the crowd instead of the dude that gets up on stage and calls everybody an asshole and a douchebag and just talks shit for like 10 minutes. I'm like, really? That's what you just used your time to go through the Urban Dictionary of censored words and just talk shit this entire time?
What's the people that
Like,
misinterpret? Like, you know, you know, we have obviously there's a history of mean or angry or acerbic comics.
but still, even in, you know, and no one's coming to my mind as far as like 80s and 90s, like that mean type that you're talking about.
Oh, George Carlin or
yeah,
Don Rickles.
But still, they had some level of wit and cleverness
Sure.
behind them versus just like coming on stage and talking shit for no good reason.
Right.
You know, even George Carlin did a kid's show. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I don't see these guys going off to do Yo Gabba Gabba or like, I don't know.
Well, there's a humanity behind it. So it's like if you're gonna be mean in the process of, you know, talking about these things, you know, of if you're gonna be raw, I should say, in the
I
process
just
of
find
talking
it
about these
so
things.
boring and uncreative.
Yeah, to just
So
do
boring.
that, to just be mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
So
terrible.
if anyone's thinking about doing stand-up and you're just going to go out there and be an ass, please don't.
Yeah, or
Challenge yourself to not even say one bad word. Sometimes I do that.
It's hard.
It is hard.
It's hard.
When I film my sketches, I make sure to keep out potty humor and weed jokes because I feel like it's kind of saturated, you know, like, and it makes my thinking, my writing way more creative because I'm like, how can I make something else funny?
Right.
Everybody's done weed jokes. Everybody does
What's a
blue
crutch?
humor.
You know, to go
like,
to you know, especially
having it as a small,
boys.
yeah, exactly. Having it as a small part of the thing, sure. Don't make it your entire
the focus.
central
of
focus.
what you're
No,
doing.
not
Yeah.
at all.
No, that's
Even
not
though
fun.
he did talk about potty humor as his opening in the stand-up about having diarrhea every 48 hours.
Well, but again, that comes. He's not doing it like diarrhea.
No, yeah.
He's doing
It's
it
like a
because I'm getting
personal experience,
old.
yeah.
My body is decaying. Now I have my kids.
I love how the kids are in there with him because
Right.
that's so. He's like because they're little, and
Yeah.
as you know, being a little girl, I would have to go with my mom and my dad into
Sure.
the men's room, not my mom, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Yeah, it
My
does.
mom
happen.
used to take me into the dressing rooms of
Oh yeah.
like, you know, Marshalls or whatever. And so I was like, yeah, Dillard's, you know, Frost Brothers. And, or Frost Brothers, I don't remember. And then like, it was always fascinating to me because like you'd see the other women and the other like changing. And I'm just like, this is interesting to me somehow. Like, and that's
Can't
when
figure
I
out
just-
why yet.
And you know, and then the woman would stop. This might just be imagined, but I would, you know, I was just like, excuse me, hello, can I help you or whatever. You know, Texas sassy women. I'm just like, no, I'm good.
Just hanging out.
I'm just trying to figure
Just
out what I'm
watching
looking
women
at
change. Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, it's good advice to stick it. I mean, if you're a comic, this episode was just comedy gold, and just in terms of lessons and where to be and be thankful and work hard, and it's almost old fashioned in the sense that these are kind of go get them lessons. And we talked a bit about this with our Modern Family podcast, that there's this kind of TV, I think, still retains a little bit of its old time roots. It's the structure,
the traditional,
the
work hard and get good results.
It's very nice and
the good old boys
lesson driven, and it's cool, and in Louie's case, it's masked behind diarrhea jokes and dirty. I don't know if you noticed, they didn't bleep out one of the F words. They bleeped out all the other ones, and then there was one that got by, which I think is just funny, because then it just seems like they're arbitrarily
maybe there's a limit.
Out.
I think a certain amount of words can be allowed for it to stay TVMA.
Oh, okay.
Possibly.
I think it would be great if they just do, because don't they do that?
Just completely, just all
randomly.
you hear is the beep.
Jimmy Kimmel does that, right? Where they do this week in unnecessary bleeps. And so they'll do like a speech by Joe Biden and be like, and we just have to bleep the Chinese.
Yeah. That's great.
It's great when they do that. I think it's very
definitely
very funny. It's a calling. We make people happy. That's what Joan Rivers says.
Oh, well, there you go. And she said, we do this because we love it more than anything else.
Right.
This is getting real. Should we hold hands now? This
is like, you got to do what you love, love what you do.
Yeah.
And let the spirit move you.
Well, we're going to take a quick break. DJ Jesse or Ben's
looks
in there.
Pretty gangster.
Hey, Ben.
Oh, yeah, Ben. Jesse went to do some gangster shit.
Oh, yeah. Jesse cut his mohawk off.
Want to find out what the AfterBuzz is about?
Janice is a drama queen.
This is the divide that is going to carry the series.
Give us a call. 424-256-1729. 424-256-1729.
It's television, and they want it to be as dramatic as possible.
I mean, it's Shakespearean.
You never know what goes on behind closed doors.
Find out why AfterBuzz TV is the #1 source for after-show content.
Now, in the eyes of Jimmy, Nucky is a villain.
424-256-1729. 424-256-1729.
I mean, who would you guys rather hear that from? Your husband or your best friend?
The wig will come out.
When the TV show is over, get your AfterBuzz on.
AfterBuzz TV. Hi, I was once like you. A lazy, angry loner whose only joy was watching TV and surfing the net. And, like you, after I'd see one of my favorite TV shows, I'd be so excited and have so many questions that I'd actually have to talk to my douchebag coworkers about it at the water cooler. Then I discovered AfterBuzzTV.com. AfterBuzz TV produces after-show webcasts and podcasts for TV series of all kinds, like post-game wrap-up shows for all your favorite TV shows. AfterBuzz TV hosts are industry insiders who break down episodes of shows, take calls from fans, and interview cast and crew from each series, with over 60 different after-shows, from Boardwalk Empire to American Idol to Vampire Diaries to Real Housewives, and more. Now, after a night of TV, I can ignore my stupid coworkers, who I hate, and go straight to my desk and watch or listen to all my favorite AfterBuzz TV after shows, and have all the TV fan interaction I need. Thank you, AfterBuzz TV.
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
What do you feel like buzzing about today?
Actually, Mario, what if, so with you having done stand-up, how long have you been doing it?
About 2 years, both in New York and LA. Maybe a little bit longer than, I guess 3 years now.
Nice. What are some, interesting stories or nights that you learned something similar to how Louie just kind of had like a epiphany? There's always those nights where like something comes up and you're like, God, I've been thinking about petty shit this entire time, I need to like snap my mind game up.
The best, the best thing that can happen for you, and I'm still very early in the game, so this is my amateur observation. But the best thing that can happen to you is bombing. You haven't done anything until you bomb.
Nice.
And that's you know, like, and again, this can be like anything in life. You know, you don't know how good you are until you get knocked on your ass. You know, and it's really not what you do at the beginning, it's what you do once you get knocked on your ass, you know? And so to bomb, I was pretty fortunate. The first few shows that I did in New York, they went off, you know, pretty well. And I was able to bring out a lot of people, which helps, because when you have friends in the audience and they've been drinking, they'll totally laugh at you, and it's a wonderful feeling. So it was quite a shock when I finally went up there. You know, one show where I had like maybe one or two people in the audience that I knew, and I just bombed. And it's a reality check. And since then, I have found that it's like training, you know, you don't want to train in a luxury, you know, air-conditioned room with like it's almost like the Rocky IV.
Yeah, the $1 Million Baby, where she's beating up the beanbag in the truck.
Yeah,
running through the
that's what you want.
Like,
that's how you train, because, you know, I always joke. I learned my first car was a Hyundai, and it was a piece of crap, and it was, you know, it was the size of my computer, and but I learned how to drive on that thing. And it was crappy, and it would go out, and like, you know, we'd go on senior lunch, and it broke down a few times. My friends, we'd have to get a ride back, and it was a whole thing. So what happens now, if you give me a Lexus, I can drive the hell out of it, because I know what it's like, because I learned on a crappy car. So same thing, you want to train in the worst possible situations. You want to train in a room full of nervous comics who are, you know, going over the note cards of their material. They're not even listening to you. You know, if you hear, you know, people texting, like, I don't mind that, because to me, if I can make people laugh, if I can pull them out of that, then yeah, I mean, if it's going to be in a room full of drunks, you know, you're in the mix of, you know, 12 amazing comics, then of course, you know, it's going to get better. So I had my first heckler.
Oh,
I remember that. Yeah. I was making I'm Mexican American, and I was making some Mexican jokes about something. And something about, you know, hot-headed Latinos, or some, you know, generic stereotype like that. And this girl from the back, this kind of disaffected young girl, was just like, "Oh, great! Like, way to promulgate stereotypes," was literally like what she said. And, you know, without missing a beat, I was like, "Okay, relax. Okay, you'll get." I was like, "The bookstore opens at 9. Okay, you'll get your extra credit tomorrow on the test." Like, you know, it was like your studies, your graduate studies. So relax. So everyone had a big laugh. And then afterwards I went and found her and was just like, "You're my first heckler." I was like, "Let me buy you a drink."
She's probably frightened.
No, it was fine.
No one knows Mario. He's very hyper.
I was probably very intense. I was like, "You, I want to buy you a drink." Yeah. So
That's
no,
funny.
But it's fun. I mean, if you enjoy performing, then it's, you know,
I
all that stuff
am
is
working on a set right now. I definitely want to do it, and watching the show is actually kind of like
it's inspiring,
a little
right?
bit of an inspiration.
It really
for sure.
is. There are a lot of really, you know, nice gems, and I encourage people, if you haven't seen the show, even if you're not a regular watcher of this show, which you probably would be if you're listening to this podcast, you know, to at least watch that episode, because it's
Joan episode's great.
It's great
for anybody.
If you had doubts about whatever you're doing, or if you've lost the love, or you just don't feel energized, and it happens. We all get in ruts. We all just like, what am I doing? It's just not, you know. Think back to when you started doing something. Think back to when you had nothing. Think back to when you were down on your luck. No one would return your calls. You know, your resume, nobody, you know, and that's why I keep saying, you know, in these economic times, there's a tendency to self-deprecate, or just like, you know, what's the word? Self-pity. You know, oh man, no one likes me. Look. Like yourself, and get up and go. You know, there's no one's
Remember, your mom always loves you.
Yeah.
Always.
You know,
call a friend. My mom is my only fan.
Is your number one fan?
Actually, my number one fan is probably my nephew. So I would say my nephew He's 7. He knows everything
Well, you
in
need
the
to
world,
bring him out to
obviously.
your comedy club then,
Obviously,
and put him front and center.
Let that kid laugh. I'll put
some
him on
whiskey in him.
I'll put him on stage.
There you go.
Like, who's gonna
He could.
not laugh at me, the cute little 7-year-old little black boy?
What if you put your hand behind him and did like a fake ventriloquism and like
That's
you guys
it.
work it out?
That's my shtick
Put him
right
in a
there.
bow tie.
Done.
And a bow tie.
Yeah, we're done.
That'd be sharp.
Just draw little lines right here. We're done. That's
My
all.
nephew, my sister drew a little mustache on him the other day, like a little Gomez Adams.
Oh, yeah?
Because he wanted a mustache.
Aw, that was a great story.
That's
Anyhow, so yeah, I think we're wrapped on this one. So
Yeah,
anything you want to
Louie.
plug, Mario?
I don't have any shows on the horizon just yet, but you can follow me at Cinemario on Twitter, CINEMARIO.
Awesome.
And I'll be announcing stuff on there.
Cool. And my Twitter is Shannon Joy Rodgers, and Rodgers is RODGERS. Awesome. Well, we're out.
We'll be back next week.
Yep.
Nope. Are we? Maybe?
A rerun still, but yeah, we'll be back.
Okay, we'll be back.
From producers Kevin Undergaro and Phil Svitek, engineer DJ Jesse Janity, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. If you have questions or comments, be sure to buzz us at info@AfterBuzzTV.com. And you can find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter by searching for AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.